This portion of the news brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
For the past 2 days, a team from the Ministry of Environmental Health and one from the Ministry of Works have been working to eliminate a series of health and safety hazards at the Stephen Dillard Primary School.
According to educational authorities, classes at that school picked back up today, but officials from the Bahamas Union of Teachers said not so fast, as there are still some additional issues that need to be ironed out before teachers and students return to the classroom.
Now, LaDon Davis spoke to parents, education officials, and the president of the Bahamas Union of Teachers today about the confusion.
It was supposed to be classes as usual for teachers and the more than 700 students at the Stephen Dillard Primary School on Tuesday morning, but that apparently did not happen. Dozens of parents turned up here at the Stephen Dillard Primary School this morning to drop their kids off, only to be told there's no school today.
No water? So the water can stop the children from taking their education, eh?
Michelle Cantor is just one of many parents disturbed at Tuesday's events, and her concern has not fallen on deaf ears. President of the Bahamas Union of Teachers, Belinda Wilson, says an inadequate water supply at the school is not the only issue that education officials need to address.
The vents for the air-conditioned units, we understand they're filthy, they're very dirty, they need to be properly cleaned. Fiberglass, as you also know, that can be very harmful because the particles can get into your lungs. It can cause respiratory problems.
Education Minister Jerome Fitzgerald said despite the fact that parents were reportedly told by persons at the Stephen Dillard Primary School to take their children home, the school is open. However, Minister Fitzgerald cited additional concerns raised by the Teachers Union president that he knows are being addressed.
The union doesn't have any more concern for students than we do at the Ministry of Education, and so I'm quite amused that she may try to, or the union may try to make that an issue. We were aware of the work that needed to be done. We had the work completed. We had the Ministry of Environment in there yesterday to review it, to test the quality of the air, and they gave us the go-ahead. And so we made the decision for school to resume there.
ZNS News also attempted to speak to Stephen Dillard Primary School Principal Sheila Scavella on the issue. However, she declined to comment. Meantime, the Teachers Union is asking education officials to draft a status report on their findings, meet with them, and strategize a short and a long-term plan that's in the best interest of all students. LaDon Davis, ZNS Network News.
Meantime, only staff members of the Naomi Blatch Preschool are expected to report to work on Thursday, September 19th. But President of the BUT, Belinda Wilson, says she does not see that school opening on Thursday and gave some reasons why.
The septic tank is open, the soakaway, they're just beginning the work on that. They're just laying down wood for the pavement. I don't see any pipes connected to the septic tank because you know it needs to be connected in order for the toilets to flush and for water to flow. So I definitely don't see Naomi Blatch opening on Thursday. So again, I say to the Ministry of Education, I've sent a list of items to the director late last night. I would have spoken to his office, so he has the list. I'm asking again, sit, let's walk through what the concerns are so that we can move forward.
Wilson added that there is also a shortage of teachers at several schools throughout the country.
Teacher shortage is a major problem. North Andros High, Preston Albury, North Eleuthera High School, San Salvador, both the primary and the secondary school. Teacher shortages is a problem throughout the Bahamas.
Education Minister Jerome Fitzgerald says despite challenges to the posts of 2 school principals, the administrators will not be removed. He told us today the principals at the Anatole Rogers High School here in New Providence and Maurice Moore Primary School in Grand Bahama have the support of their teaching staff.
Made it clear. I don't want to continue to dwell on that. I mean, I've made my position very clear. I mean, I think from the onset I have said what the position is with regard to those principles and the processes that we went through in order to make sure that we came to a decision that we thought was the best decision in all circumstances. And so there's nothing that's going to change with regard to that. I think, you know, if you look at, just reflect on what's happened over the last couple of weeks, you know, it's obvious that those principals have the support of the teachers in particular, but the ministry supports them as well.
Now, while education officials battle deficiencies at existing schools, they're also making plans to accommodate the sprawling communities of southern New Providence by constructing a new school there.
Our schools in the south are challenged with regard to capacity. We have schools in the center of town which still have quite a bit of space, but the population has shifted, and so we're seeing more and more pressure on our schools in the south. And our planning division for years now has said that we need to put a school in the south, junior high. We have a plot of land has been identified, and so over the next couple of years we plan to add a junior high and a primary school, as a matter of fact.
Well, tonight, Minister Fitzgerald is also responding to a concern raised by one of our Facebook followers who questioned whether or not a fence was erected at the Anatole Rogers School separating the senior and junior students. The Facebook follower charged that this was a safety concern which needed the government's attention. Here's the minister's response to that and a similar setup at the Jack Hayward High School in Grand Bahama.
I took down that separation between the two. I don't support that, and we don't support that in the ministry. At some point, we have on the drawing board now to construct a new junior high school in that area. But until that is done, the school will be a high school for junior and senior high. But because
was there at Anatole?
No, there was never any separation. There was a separation of a gate at Jack Hayward in Grand Bahama, which we removed. But there's no separation, and there will not be separation at Anatole Rogers.
Moving on from education to legal affairs, the Minister of State for Legal Affairs, Honorable Damian Gomez, met with the magistrates at the Nassau Street Courthouse today to hear their concerns following the closure of the building yesterday because of flooding. Acting Chief Magistrate Joanne Ferguson Pratt made a decision to close the building at noon yesterday, this after portions of the magistrate's chamber and the business offices were damaged by flooding caused by a leaky roof. Meantime, during today's meeting, Mr. Gomez reportedly made a commitment to address magistrates' concerns moving forward. Among the issues of concern, a broken elevator, which has been out of operation for about 6 months, which means disabled people have to be carried upstairs to court. There are also concerns about some of the bathrooms which are not working properly. Now, all of the courts were open today, although there were long lines because of a backup from cases from yesterday. The multi-million-dollar Nassau Street Magistrate Court opened last year. Normal banking operations resumed at Scotiabank Soldier Road and East Street branch today, one day after a robbery occurred that bank officials confirmed in a statement was isolated to one teller and no injuries were sustained by employees or customers. The release noted that because of the nature of the business, a robbery is always a possibility, but bank officials assure the public of their commitment to security and to the safety of their customers and employees. The bank is also working with the Royal Bahamas Police Force in their investigation and would not like to say anything further which may compromise their work.
Bahamas Telecommunications Company officials are still awaiting confirmation on whether that damaged telecommunications link in Grand Bahama has been fully restored. BTC officials announced yesterday that a freighter, which was anchored incorrectly in Grand Bahama's 8 Mile Rock Harbor, damaged a vital telecommunications link, leaving some areas without local and international phone and data services on the island. BTC engineers worked to restore those service points, but a small percentage of customers with the Paradise Island prefix 363 were affected. The malfunction also meant that ZNS Northern Service television newscast and a live broadcast from Urban Renewal in Grand Bahama were not aired.
In odd news tonight, take a look at this strange fish, if that's what we could call it. It was found by a fisherman over the weekend. Franklin Portier, who has fished, according to him, all over the Bahamas for more than 20 years, said he made the discovery of the strange creature on Saturday and had no idea what it was or even if it was safe to eat. He preserved the creature. However, he said he was going to turn it over to the Fisheries Ministry or the Bahamas National Trust to ensure that this creature was not another invasive species that had entered Bahamian waters, such as the lionfish and cane toad.
She have a tail of a grouper, as you could see. The underneath is more like a box fish, but I don't know. She have like 4. And yesterday when we caught it, she was underneath the water like a frog. You know, she was underneath the water, standing up on the legs. You know, ain't really give her a strong pull, but it amazed me. So I had to bring it to see what we find out about it.
Strange, isn't it? We understand that that fish that Portier found is a batfish that can be found in warm and temperate seas along the coast of Carolina and South Florida and, of course, the northern Bahamas. But officials told our ZNS News team that they are bottom feeders and it's very rare for them to be caught by fishermen. They assured that this type of fish is not an invasive species or any threat to our waters. The Police Royals look to short out the Cybots and Government League basketball playoff action. We've got the highlights coming up.
And later on, how one school is making a special difference. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
This is your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Andrew Knowles. Starting November 11th, the National Fly Carrier will start non-stop service between West Palm Beach and Nassau. Bahamas Air plans to operate the new flight with a 50-seat aircraft. Director of Airports for Palm Beach County, Bruce Pelly, expects his flight to Nassau will be well received by the community, adding that they are pleased to add another city to its list of non-stop markets. The service will operate Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays. Ivory Global Management is preparing to hold its first annual Let's Talk Business Expo and Symposium, which will act as an educational and marketing tool for businesses of all sizes. This event is primarily designed to empower, inform, and expose aspiring business professionals to the resources available to them within the current business climate and give entrepreneurs the opportunity to showcase their products and services. The event has two components: the expo, where businesses will display their products and conduct product demonstration or presentations, and the symposium, where Ivory Global Management will host training sessions on value-added tax with the Ministry of Finance and more. Let's Talk Business Expo and Symposium will be held Thursday, October 3rd. And in international business, bank stocks were battered in the wake of the Lehman Brothers collapse 5 years ago, but investors have since embraced many of the Wall Street's too-big-to-fail club. JP Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs, and Wells Fargo have staged impressive comebacks, with shares trading at levels higher than they were before the financial crisis, while Morgan Stanley is nearly breaking even. Citigroup and Bank of America shares are still about 50% below where they were just before financial markets were sent into tailspin, but they have each quadrupled from the March 2009 market lows. That was your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Andrew Knowles.